Claire, your recent performance is unacceptable. Your reports are late and full of errors. You need to improve your efficiency immediately.
I understand. I'll work on it.
Claire, you consistently misplace priorities, slowing the team's work. You fail to meet company expectations. Maybe this position simply isn't the right fit for you.
I understand. This is enough. I came here to work, not to lose my dignity. Thank you for the opportunity.
The people who change your life rarely raise their voices. Sometimes they simply refuse to lose their dignity. At exactly 8:12 on a gray Tuesday morning, the entire customer service floor fell silent. Not because something extraordinary had happened, because someone ordinary had just been humiliated. Claire stood beside the reception counter, her hands resting quietly around a stack of neatly organized folders. Her light blue blouse was perfectly clean, even though it had already been a long morning. A few loose strands of light brown hair framed her gentle face. She looked tired but never careless. She did not argue. She did not defend herself. She simply listened. "You expect us to believe this happened by accident?" The department manager crossed his arms, speaking loudly enough for every employee nearby to hear. "You made the client wait." Again. Claire opened her mouth then stopped. The truth was simple. An elderly customer had become confused in the lobby. She had spent nearly 10 minutes helping him contact his daughter before returning to her desk. No one had asked why she was late. No one seemed interested. Around her, co-workers lowered their eyes toward computer screens that suddenly became fascinating. A few exchanged uncomfortable glances. Others pretended not to notice at all. The silence hurt more than the accusation. Claire inhaled slowly. "I understand." That was all she said. No excuses. No complaints. No bitterness. She gently placed her employee badge onto the counter. "I am sorry for the inconvenience." The manager looked almost surprised. Perhaps he had expected tears. Perhaps he had expected anger. Instead, she offered only grace. Claire picked up her worn canvas bag. The zipper had been repaired twice. Inside rested a small lunch container, a paperback novel borrowed from the public library, and a folded drawing made by her 8-year-old daughter the night before. Across the top, written in colorful crayon, were 5 simple words. "You are my superhero, Mom." She never went anywhere without it. As she walked toward the glass entrance, the automatic doors opened with a soft whisper. Outside, light rain covered the sidewalks of downtown Chicago. She paused beneath the awning for only a second. Not to cry, only to breathe. She closed her eyes, letting the cool air settle the storm inside her chest. Then she stepped forward, head held high, back perfectly straight, as though no one had managed to take anything from her. Far across the open lobby, another pair of eyes had followed every step. Ethan Carter had arrived only minutes earlier for an unannounced visit to one of his company's regional offices. Most employees never recognized him immediately. He preferred it that way. Standing beside the elevator in a perfectly tailored navy suit, one hand resting lightly inside his coat pocket, he had witnessed everything. Every word, every expression, every uncomfortable silence. He did not know the woman's name. He did not know her position. But one detail refused to leave his mind. She had protected her dignity, even after no one else protected her. The elevator doors opened behind him. No one noticed that the billionaire CEO did not step inside. Instead, his eyes remained fixed on the woman disappearing into the rain. Then, without saying a single word, he turned around and quietly walked out behind her. The rain had become steadier by the time Claire reached the corner of the block. She did not rush. There was nowhere urgent to be. Her shift was over before it had truly begun. She adjusted the strap of her worn canvas bag and continued walking, careful to avoid the puddles gathering along the sidewalk. Downtown Chicago was already filling with lunchtime traffic. Taxi horns echoed through the streets. Office workers hurried beneath umbrellas, each carrying their own invisible burdens. No one noticed the woman walking alone, and she preferred it that way. Across the street, a black luxury sedan waited at the curb. Its driver glanced into the rearview mirror. "Sir." The board meeting begins in 23 minutes. Ethan Carter did not answer immediately. His eyes remained fixed on the woman moving quietly through the rain. Cancel the escort. The driver blinked. Sir, I will walk. Without another word, Ethan opened the door and stepped onto the sidewalk. His polished shoes touched the wet pavement. The cold rain landed softly on the shoulders of his tailored navy coat, but he barely seemed to notice. He followed from a respectful distance, not close enough to alarm her, not far enough to lose sight of her. He had attended thousands of business meetings, negotiated billion-dollar acquisitions, made decisions that affected entire industries, yet somehow, he could not stop thinking about one woman who had refused to defend herself. Most people fought to protect their pride. She had protected something quieter, her character. Claire eventually reached a neighborhood cafe tucked between an old bookstore and a family-owned pharmacy. She stepped inside, not because she wanted coffee, because the warmth offered a brief escape from the rain. She ordered the least expensive cup on the menu. When the cashier smiled and offered a fresh pastry for an additional $4, Claire smiled back with genuine kindness. Maybe another time. Her voice carried no disappointment, only gratitude. She accepted the paper cup with both hands and settled near the front window. From her bag, she removed a small notebook. Inside were neatly written monthly expenses: rent, utilities, groceries, school supplies, bus fare. Every dollar already belonged somewhere. She quietly erased one number, then another. Her pencil paused above the page. Finally, she smiled to herself. If we skip takeout this month, she whispered, Lily will still have enough for the Science Museum. The words were almost too soft to hear, but someone did hear them. Ethan had entered the cafe only moments earlier. He stood several feet away, waiting for his coffee as though he were simply another customer. He was close enough to notice the careful way Claire balanced every expense, close enough to see that she never once wrote anything for herself. Everything on the page carried the same destination: Lily. He looked toward the display case filled with pastries, then back toward Claire's untouched notebook. She had just sacrificed another small comfort, not dramatically, not for recognition, simply because that was what mothers did. The barista called Ethan's order. He accepted the cup with a quiet thank you, but his attention never left the woman by the window. For the first time in years, quarterly reports, stock prices, and executive schedules faded into the background. One question quietly settled into his thoughts. Who was she, when no one was watching? The cafe grew quieter as the lunch crowd slowly disappeared. Rain continued tapping gently against the windows, creating a steady rhythm that seemed to slow the entire afternoon. Claire closed her notebook. She carefully folded the grocery receipt between its pages before slipping everything back into her canvas bag. Every movement was unhurried, almost practiced, as though she had learned long ago that calm was one of the few things life could not take from her. She stood, thanked the barista once more, and walked toward the door. The young woman behind the counter smiled. I hope your day gets better. Claire returned the smile. It already has. Someone wished me well. Then she stepped back into the rain. Ethan remained standing beside the counter for another moment. The simple exchange lingered in his mind. Most people measured good days by promotions, bonuses, or victories. She measured hers by kindness. He quietly placed a $20 bill inside the tip jar before leaving the cafe. Outside, Claire crossed the street toward a nearby bus stop. The shelter was crowded. A mother struggled to fold a stroller while holding a restless toddler. Grocery bags slid across the wet pavement as the wind picked up. Without hesitation, Claire set down her own bag. May I help you? The young mother looked relieved. Please. Thank you. Claire smiled gently. Together, they folded the stroller, gathered the groceries, and settled the little boy before the city bus arrived. The entire moment lasted less than 3 minutes. No one applauded. No one recorded it. When the grateful mother offered $5 for helping, Claire shook her head. Buy him something he likes. The bus doors opened with a soft hiss. Claire stepped aside. You should go first. The young mother hesitated. So should you. Claire laughed softly. He has shorter legs than I do. Both women smiled. The little boy waved as the bus pulled away. Claire remained standing beneath the shelter. She had missed that bus on purpose. She never seemed bothered by small inconveniences if they made someone else's day easier. Across the street, Ethan watched from inside his waiting car. He had seen enough to know one thing. Nothing about her kindness was accidental. His phone vibrated. This time he answered. Daniel. His chief of staff responded immediately. We have delayed the board meeting another 15 minutes. Good. A brief silence followed. Then Ethan spoke again. I need information. On whom, sir? The employee who left the regional office this morning. Daniel paused. I can have a file within the hour. No. Ethan looked through the rain-speckled window as Claire disappeared around the next corner. I want the truth. Another pause. The complete picture. Yes, sir. And Daniel. Yes. If anyone asks, this request stays between us. Understood. The call ended. Less than 45 minutes later, a secure digital file appeared on Ethan's tablet. No disciplinary history, perfect attendance, excellent customer reviews, volunteer work every Saturday at the neighborhood community center. Widowed? No. Divorced? No. Single mother. One daughter. 8 years old. Lily. Every available record painted the same picture. Hardworking. Dependable. Quiet. Never requested special treatment. Never filed a complaint. Never missed a school conference. Never failed to pay her rent. Near the bottom of the report, one sentence caught Ethan's attention. Employee frequently exchanges paid vacation days for additional hourly shifts during school scholarship periods. He read it twice. Then a third time. The room suddenly felt very different. She was not working harder because someone demanded it. She was working harder because a little girl had dreams larger than their budget. Ethan slowly locked the tablet. For years, he had built companies by studying numbers. Today, one ordinary employee had reminded him that the most important stories could never be measured on a balance sheet. The next morning arrived with clear skies. Chicago looked different after the rain. The sidewalks reflected soft morning light, storefront windows sparkled, and the city seemed eager to begin again. Claire stepped off the city bus carrying the same worn canvas bag over her shoulder. She had not slept much. After yesterday's humiliation, finding another job had quietly become another responsibility waiting beside all the others. So, she smiled at the security guard as she entered the community center. Good morning, Mr. Alvarez. The older man smiled immediately. Good morning, Claire. They have been asking about you. She laughed softly. I hope that means the children. It always does. Inside the recreation room, folding tables had been arranged for the weekly reading program. Colorful storybooks covered every surface. Construction paper, crayons, and puzzles waited neatly in small plastic bins. Within minutes, children began filling the room. Some rushed toward the books. Others simply wanted someone to notice them. Claire somehow managed both. She knelt beside one little girl struggling to sound out a sentence. There is no hurry. The child frowned. I keep saying it wrong. Claire gently pointed to the first word. Then let us say it slowly. Together. One sentence became two. Two became an entire page. The little girl's eyes grew brighter with every successful word. You did it. No, Claire answered with a warm smile. You did. Across the hallway, a tall man entered wearing a charcoal sweater, dark jeans, and a simple baseball cap. Nothing about his appearance suggested billion-dollar companies or executive boardrooms. That was exactly the point. Ethan Carter preferred arriving unnoticed. Only the community center director recognized him. She greeted him quietly. It is generous of your foundation to continue supporting us. I only came to observe. You picked the right morning. She nodded toward the reading room. You will meet someone remarkable. Ethan followed her gaze. He already knew who she meant. Claire never noticed him. She was too busy helping another child whose shoelace had come undone. She tied it without hesitation. Then she helped another little boy reach a puzzle resting on the highest shelf. No cameras, no audience, no expectation of reward. Just quiet kindness repeated over and over. Nearly an hour passed before the reading session ended. Parents began arriving. Children hugged volunteers before running toward the front entrance. One small boy accidentally dropped a paper bag. Boxes of crayons spilled across the floor. He froze. His shoulders sank. "I am sorry." Claire was already kneeling beside him. "It is only a little colorful adventure." The boy looked confused. She handed him one blue crayon. "I will collect the blue ones." Then another. "You find the red ones." Within seconds, several nearby children joined them. Soon every crayon had been gathered. The little boy smiled again. "So, nobody is in trouble?" Claire shook her head. "Not for making a mess." She gently tapped the paper bag. "We just clean it together." Standing quietly near the doorway, Ethan watched every moment. Yesterday he had wondered whether her kindness had survived one terrible day. Today he received his answer. It had never depended on the day. It was simply who she was. As Claire thanked the last family for coming, she finally noticed the unfamiliar man standing nearby. Their eyes met for the first time since the office lobby. She offered the same warm smile she gave everyone else. "Good morning." There was not the slightest sign that she recognized him. Ethan returned the smile. "Good morning." For the first time in many years, he found himself hoping a conversation would begin naturally, not because of who he was, but because of who she already was. Claire adjusted a stack of children's books before placing the last one back onto the shelf. The room had finally grown quiet. Colorful chairs stood neatly around the reading circle, and soft afternoon sunlight stretched across the polished wooden floor. She picked up her canvas bag. Another volunteer waved from across the room. "Thank you for staying late again." Claire smiled. "I had the time." Neither of them mentioned that she no longer had a job waiting for her the next morning. Some kindnesses needed no explanation. As she reached the hallway, she noticed the unfamiliar man standing near the community bulletin board. He appeared to be reading flyers about after-school programs. When he turned, he offered a polite smile. "I hope I am not in the way." Claire shook her head. "Not at all. I have never been here before. It is a good place for first visits." Her answer carried no hesitation, only welcome. Ethan glanced toward the reading room. "The children seem very comfortable with you." Claire laughed softly. "They teach me more than I teach them." "That is an interesting way to see it. I think adults forget how honest children are." She paused. "If they trust you, it is because you earned it." The words settled quietly between them. Ethan found himself listening more carefully than he had expected. "I am Ethan." She extended her hand naturally. "I am Claire. It is nice to meet you." Their handshake lasted only a moment. Simple, respectful. Neither of them knew how important that moment would eventually become. A volunteer entered carrying 2 cardboard boxes filled with donated school supplies. "I could use an extra pair of hands." "I will help," Claire answered immediately. Before Ethan could speak, she had already lifted one of the heavier boxes. He reached for the second. Together, they carried everything into a storage room lined with metal shelves. The volunteer smiled gratefully. "You two make a pretty efficient team." Claire laughed. "I think he is doing most of the work." Ethan smiled. "I was about to say exactly the opposite." The volunteer walked away, leaving them alone for the first time. For a few quiet seconds, neither one spoke. Finally, Ethan broke the silence. "May I ask you something?" "Of course." "Yesterday." He stopped himself. He had almost mentioned the office. Instead, he chose another path. What makes someone keep helping people, even after having a difficult day? Claire looked thoughtfully toward the small window overlooking the playground. Several children were chasing bubbles across the grass. Her expression softened. "My father used to tell me something." She smiled at the memory. "He said that pain is a reason to understand people, never a reason to stop caring about them." Ethan remained silent. She continued. "Everyone carries something heavy. You just cannot always see it. If I make someone's burden a little lighter." She shrugged gently. "Mine feels lighter too." The simplicity of her answer caught him completely off guard. There was no speech, no attempt to sound wise, only lived experience. A little girl suddenly ran into the storage room holding a broken backpack strap. "Miss Claire." Claire immediately knelt to the child's height. What happened? It ripped. The little girl's voice trembled. My grandma cannot buy another one. Claire examined the strap carefully. I think we can save this. She searched through a nearby supply drawer until she found a small sewing kit kept for emergency costume repairs. Patiently, carefully, she stitched the strap back together while explaining every step so the little girl would not worry. A few minutes later, she handed it back. There. The child hugged the backpack tightly. It looks new. Claire smiled. It looks loved. The little girl wrapped her arms around Claire before running back outside. Ethan watched the doorway long after she had disappeared. He had spent years evaluating talent, leadership, and potential. Yet standing in that quiet storage room, he realized something no executive report had ever taught him. Character revealed itself most clearly when nobody believed it was being measured. The afternoon drifted quietly toward evening. Families thanked the volunteers before leaving the community center one by one. Children's laughter slowly faded into the distance, replaced by the gentle hum of traffic outside. Claire gathered the last few books and stacked them carefully inside a rolling cart. She always believed that every story deserved to be returned to its proper place. So do people, her father had once told her. She had never forgotten those words. Ethan remained nearby, helping fold small tables after most of the volunteers had gone home. He worked without drawing attention to himself, without announcing who he was. For the first time in years, no one expected him to make a decision worth millions of dollars. The quiet felt unfamiliar and strangely comforting. The community center director approached with a grateful smile. I appreciate your help today. It was my pleasure. She looked toward Claire. I wish more people understood why she keeps coming here. Ethan listened without interrupting. Some volunteers have plenty of free time. She shook her head gently. Claire does not. She makes time. Those words stayed with him. A few minutes later, Claire walked toward the front entrance carrying her canvas bag. Before she reached the door, her phone vibrated softly. She answered almost immediately. Hi, sweetheart. Her entire expression changed. Warmth filled her voice. Did you finish your homework? A cheerful little voice answered through the speaker. I did. I even practiced my reading. I knew you would. Claire smiled. I am proud of you. There was a brief pause. Then Lily asked the question every child eventually asks. Did you have a good day, Mom? Claire looked down for only a moment. The silence lasted barely a heartbeat. Then she smiled again. I met some very kind people today. It was true, just not the whole truth. I will be home soon. I love you. I love you more. The call ended. Claire slipped the phone into her bag and quietly walked outside. Ethan had heard only her side of the conversation. It was enough. Yesterday she had protected strangers from seeing her pain. Today she had protected her daughter from carrying it. Some burdens she insisted on carrying alone. The director handed Ethan a folder before leaving. These are next month's scholarship applications. He glanced through the pages absent-mindedly. One application caught his attention. Lily Bennett, Academic Achievement Scholarship. Attached behind the application was a handwritten essay. The first sentence immediately stopped him. My mother says success is not measured by what people own. It is measured by how many people feel safer because you were there. He read the sentence again, then slowly closed the folder. Children often repeated what they heard at home. Without realizing it, Lily had just described the woman Ethan had been watching for 2 days. His phone rang. Daniel. Sir, the executive team is waiting. I know. There is another matter. The regional office? Yes. Daniel lowered his voice. The manager who publicly embarrassed the employee has already submitted an incident report. What does it say? He claims her performance had become unreliable. Ethan's expression grew still. And the employee statements? They tell a very different story. A calm silence settled between them. Finally, Ethan spoke. Schedule a full review. Tomorrow morning. Daniel understood immediately. Personally conducted by you? Yes. Another short pause followed. Do not warn anyone. Understood. The call ended. Ethan looked through the front windows. Claire was already halfway down the block, walking toward the bus stop beneath the golden light of the setting sun. She had no idea that tomorrow would begin like any other morning. She also had no idea that before the day was over, the truth she had quietly lived every single day would finally step into the light, and the people who had mistaken kindness for weakness would find themselves standing before the one man they had never expected to answer to. The next morning arrived with unusual stillness. Employees gathered outside the regional office in quiet conversations, balancing coffee cups and morning schedules, unaware that this day would be remembered for reasons no calendar could predict. Claire stood across the street for a moment. She looked up at the building. The memories from 2 days earlier returned without asking permission. The loud accusation, the lowered eyes, the long walk toward the exit. She inhaled slowly, then exhaled. "This is only another door," she whispered to herself. "If it closes, another one will open." She adjusted the strap of her canvas bag and crossed the street. Inside the lobby, the atmosphere felt strangely different. Managers walked faster than usual. Phones rang more often. Even the reception desk seemed unusually tense. Claire approached quietly. "I received a message asking me to attend a meeting." The receptionist nodded. "Conference room A." Her voice sounded almost nervous. "They are expecting you." Claire thanked her and walked toward the elevator. She assumed it was another exit interview. Nothing more. On the top floor, the conference room slowly filled with department managers, supervisors, and regional executives. The same manager who had publicly embarrassed Claire straightened his tie while reviewing a folder. He appeared confident. His incident report sat neatly beside him. According to those pages, everything had been handled properly. At exactly 9 o'clock, the conference room door opened. Daniel entered first. The room immediately became silent. Everyone recognized the company's chief of staff. A heartbeat later, another figure stepped inside. Tall, calm, impeccably dressed in a perfectly tailored navy suit. Ethan Carter. Several executives stood instinctively. The regional director nearly dropped his pen. No one had been informed that the chief executive officer would personally attend. Ethan acknowledged the room with a polite nod before taking his seat. "Good morning." His voice remained calm. "There will be no presentations today." Confused glances moved around the table. Daniel distributed several folders. "The purpose of this meeting is simple. We are reviewing leadership." The department manager smiled politely. "We are always happy to improve." Ethan looked directly at him. "I hope so." The room became even quieter. Claire entered moments later after Daniel personally opened the conference room door. She froze. For the first time since meeting the quiet stranger at the community center, she saw him exactly as everyone else did. The man standing beside the head of the table. The man every executive in the room immediately respected. The realization appeared across her face in complete silence. "Ethan." She barely breathed the name. He offered the same warm smile she had seen at the community center. "Good morning, Claire." The manager looked back and forth between them, completely confused. "You know each other?" Ethan answered without hesitation. "We have met. Nothing more. Nothing less." Claire quietly accepted the empty chair Daniel offered. She still struggled to understand what was happening. Ethan folded his hands on the table. "I reviewed every document regarding this week's incident." The manager straightened confidently. "As my report explains," Ethan gently raised one hand, "I have already read your report." His tone never became louder. It simply became impossible to interrupt. "I also reviewed employee statements." Another pause. "Customer feedback." Another. "Attendance records." He looked toward Claire. "And something your report never mentioned." The manager swallowed. "What would that be, sir?" Ethan's eyes remained steady. "I was there." No one moved. The words settled over the room with astonishing weight. "I witnessed the entire conversation." Every face turned toward the manager. His confidence disappeared almost instantly. Ethan continued speaking with the same calm voice. "I watched an employee stop helping a customer only after ensuring that an elderly gentleman safely reached his family." He paused. "I watched that employee accept public criticism without humiliation becoming disrespect." Another measured breath. And I watched everyone else remain silent. The conference room felt almost motionless, not because anyone had been shouted at, because the truth had quietly entered the room, and there was nowhere left for it to be ignored. No one spoke. The silence inside the conference room became heavier than any accusation that had filled it 2 days earlier. The department manager slowly lowered his eyes toward the polished conference table. For the first time, he had nothing prepared to say. Ethan remained composed. His voice never carried anger, only clarity. I am not here to embarrass anyone. He allowed the words to settle naturally. I am here because leadership is measured most honestly when nobody believes they are being evaluated. Several department heads quietly shifted in their seats. No one looked comfortable anymore. Daniel opened another folder. He placed several printed customer comments in front of each executive. Every page told the same story: patient, reliable, compassionate, professional. One customer had written only a single sentence: "She treated my father as though he mattered." Ethan gently touched the stack of papers. These comments were written over 3 years. He looked around the room. Trust cannot be built in one afternoon. Another brief pause. But it can be ignored in less than 1 minute. The manager finally cleared his throat. "Sir, I made a decision based on the information I believed I had." Ethan nodded slightly. "I believe you." The answer surprised everyone. Even the manager looked confused. "But there is another question." Ethan's eyes met his. "What information did you never stop to ask for?" The room became silent once again. No one answered, because everyone already knew. No one had asked Claire why she had been late. No one had asked the elderly customer what had happened. No one had asked the employees standing nearby. Assumptions had replaced curiosity. Authority had replaced understanding. Claire remained completely still. She had expected an investigation. She had never expected someone to defend her without humiliating someone else. That difference mattered. It mattered more than she could explain. Ethan slowly stood. He walked toward the large windows overlooking the city before turning back toward the room. "When I first entered this office, I did not see a company." He paused. "I saw people." Another measured breath. "And companies rise or fall according to how people are treated when they are at their most vulnerable." His words were quiet, yet every sentence seemed to reach every corner of the room. Daniel stepped forward with one final document. The previous disciplinary action against Claire Bennett has been officially withdrawn. He placed the paper before the regional director. "The personnel record will reflect no misconduct." The regional director signed immediately, without hesitation, without objection. The manager slowly stood from his chair. He turned toward Claire. His voice sounded smaller now. "Ms. Bennett." He stopped for a moment, searching for the right words. "I judged the situation before I understood it. I spoke without giving you the respect you deserved. I am sincerely sorry." Claire looked at him for several quiet seconds. There was no satisfaction on her face, no triumph, only calm. "Thank you." That was all she said. No lecture, no bitterness, no attempt to make him feel the embarrassment she had once carried herself. Forgiveness arrived as quietly as her dignity always had. Ethan noticed it immediately. Many people accepted apologies. Very few accepted them without asking for something in return. He understood more clearly than ever why every child at the community center trusted her within minutes. Why strangers found comfort in her presence. Why one little girl believed her mother was a superhero. Character did not appear during easy moments. It appeared when someone finally had every reason to seek revenge and still chose grace instead. As the meeting came to an end, executives slowly gathered their folders. No one rushed toward the door. The atmosphere had changed. Not because policies had been rewritten, because perspectives had. Claire quietly picked up her canvas bag. She believed she was simply leaving another difficult chapter behind. She did not yet realize the most unexpected conversation of her life was waiting just beyond the conference room door. Claire stepped into the hallway with her canvas bag resting gently against her shoulder. For the first time in days, the weight inside her heart felt lighter than the weight she carried in her hand. Employees quietly passed by, offering small smiles as they walked. Some nodded. Others whispered gentle apologies without finding the courage to stop. Claire answered each one the same way, with kindness. The conference room door closed behind her. She believed the morning was finally over. Claire. She turned. Ethan was walking toward her alone. There was no executive team, no assistants, no audience. Only two people standing in a quiet hallway flooded with afternoon sunlight. He stopped a respectful distance away. "I hope I did not make today more difficult." Claire smiled gently. "You did the opposite." A brief silence settled between them. Then she looked at him with quiet curiosity. Why? It was a simple question. Not why he had defended her, why he had noticed her at all. Ethan understood immediately. He answered without hesitation. "Because you reminded me of something I had almost forgotten." Claire waited. "My father built our company." His voice softened. "When I was young, he used to visit every office without announcing who he was. He always said the real culture of a company appeared when no one thought the owner was watching." He smiled faintly. "I thought I was following his example." Another thoughtful pause. "But then I met you." Claire lowered her eyes for a moment. "I did not do anything special." Ethan shook his head gently. "That is exactly why I noticed. You were kind when nobody was rewarding you. You were patient when nobody appreciated it. You protected other people even after no one protected you." The hallway became quiet again. Some truths deserved silence after they were spoken. Claire finally laughed softly. "My daughter would probably tell you I am just stubborn. I believe she would call you something else." Claire looked surprised. "You know about Lily? I read her scholarship application." He smiled warmly. "There was one sentence I could not forget." Claire's expression grew thoughtful. Ethan repeated it carefully. "My mother says success is not measured by what people own. It is measured by how many people feel safer because you were there." For a moment, neither of them spoke. Claire's eyes became bright. "I did not know she wrote that." Children usually tell the truth. "They do." Ethan reached into the leather portfolio he had been carrying. He removed a single envelope. "I would like you to consider something." Claire accepted it carefully. Inside was an offer. Not charity, not a gift. A position within the company's newly expanded community relations division. Flexible hours. Full health benefits. Professional development. A salary that would comfortably support both her and Lily. At the bottom was one handwritten sentence. "We do not need someone perfect. We need someone people can trust." Claire looked up slowly. "I do not know what to say." "You do not have to decide today. I only ask that you read it." She held the envelope against her chest. "I will." Ethan extended his hand one last time. "It has been an honor meeting you, Claire." She shook his hand with the same warmth she had shown him at the community center. "The honor is mine." As Ethan walked toward the executive elevators, he glanced back only once. Claire was standing near the window, sunlight resting across her face, quietly reading the first page of a future she had never imagined. Sometimes life changes because someone powerful speaks. Sometimes it changes because someone ordinary refuses to stop being kind. And long after titles, salaries, and positions are forgotten, people remember the ones who made them feel seen.